doesn't sound good.
It does not sound good.
Alright, so we're a little bit in the future right now with the 450, but in today's episode we're going to be putting some cables back on. We're putting all the components back on that we need to make the bike finally start. Check out my new 450. Alright, so to offset some of the costs on the 450 project, because we basically hit our budget last time, I picked up this sweet motorcycle barbecue grill from Austin a few months back. And off this bike we got the amazing condition blue tank and side covers. But we also got a whole host of other parts. At the end of the last episode, if you had watched to the very end, you will notice that I went over budget. I'm now at like $1,500 and change somewhere. The budget isn't the end of the world. We kind of stick to this budget to try, but most projects end up going over budget. Mine definitely is going to go over budget. But I've made a few big purchases right now that are going to hopefully help me make some money, as well as save me some money to get that budget back down. A really good way to save some money on your project is to pick up a parts bike, because it's going to have a lot of parts you might need, and you can use some of the parts you don't need to offset the cost of your project while you go along. Alright, so the second major purchase I got is this great condition top pipe from another CL450. You'll notice from the first episode, my upper pipe was insanely rusted out, so I picked up this one for this much. You'll see it on the screen. And I sold the old pipe on eBay to make the total exactly this. The total came out to about the same price as a normal set of mufflers after selling the old pipe. So I kind of went that route, that way I can have the full original pipes on my bike. One could also go the route of just cutting off the old mufflers and slipping on a set of new mufflers. Both work out really well. It's just whichever way you want to go. I happen to find a good deal on an original pipe, so that's the way I went. Here we go. Oh, too far. So we got some new copper gaskets in our gasket kit.
I feel like you're struggling way harder than you do. What do you want me to do?
Just kill me. So, this is taking like an hour because this exhaust is so fiddly, but basically when you get the pipes on, don't tighten them. don't tighten this, don't tighten anything until every single piece is lined up, because it all lines up at one time and then it seats. And now I'm about to start tightening things. It just took way too long. Way
too long. Tell us how you really feel, Caleb.
I'm pissed. I'm very upset. This has been the most fiddly thing in the whole planet. Oh, and it just came off. So I was tightening the last bolt on here, and I just remembered that I need to replace the shocks. So we'll probably have to pull the exhaust back off after we start the bike and do some of the last like suspension wheel stuff.
Gotta say, the whole time lapse was pointless.
My left side point wasn't really operating properly, it seemed like, with the timing light. It wasn't really getting it to turn on consistently, whereas the right side point was. I got a new set of points. We're gonna replace the left point, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna do the right because it had a few issues with it as well. It works! Woo! Yeah, it looks good. Alright, so we got our new stator shield put on, the common motor one. The original Honda ones are very, very thin on the 450, and your shifter can actually punch right through them. So ours is at least twice as thick. We'll have the link down below to the product. So it's an awesome upgrade, worth breaking the bank a little bit on for my build personally, because for one, I like the CMC logo, but also it's gonna be great when I go on the Vintage 1000 with this bad boy next year. We got the spark plugs back in, ignition points cover back on, and our temporary gas tank hooked up, and we're gonna try to start it. So we got the ignition on, choke all the way up, gas is on, kill switch is on. Let's do this. It's a great first try. That doesn't sound good.
It does not sound good. Circulate for the first time into the engine, so we topped it off. Let's see if she starts now. No choke, warmed up. That was actually the first one. smoke less. You can kind of hear it. Got some good compression.
I think that's going to wrap up this episode. I'm super stoked the bike started so easily. Obviously, I should have rebuilt the electric starter probably before I put the exhaust on and everything, but I forgot. So we're going to probably dive into that next episode. I need to get the exhaust back off anyway so I can change the rear shocks because they're basically kaput. And we're also going to rebuild the brakes, change out the tires, and we'll basically be ready to ride. I mean, it's like 2 minutes of work. So that kind of wraps up our fuel, wraps up our electrical, wraps up our engine sections, everything tested fine now that it's running. The next test is going to be on an actual test ride. Can't wait to ride it. This is the first time I heard the bike start, so I'm super stoked. I can't say that enough. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this episode of Fixin' a Ride here with the failed cafe racer now turning into a pretty awesome scrambler. I will catch you guys next time. Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe to our newsletter over at common-motor.com and subscribe to this YouTube channel right down below.